Preserved at the Railway Museum at Bassendean is an example of the Western Australian Government Railways S-Class. With a 482 wheel configuration, the S-Class were constructed at the WAGR's Midland workshops and were pressed into service hauling mainline freight trains, mostly from towns such as Collie and Bunbury, where steam locomotive depots were located. All 10 members of the class were named. Greenmount was given to S549, and it finished its days on the government railways at Collie, where it was taken out of service. The engine was eventually preserved by the Railway Museum at Bassendean, and in the 1990s a project was launched to restore the 1947-built loco to operational condition for use on occasional mainline outings and special events such as those held at Bassendean and Midland for a time. The engine was given the nickname Sammy, and it moved under its own steam for the first time in the mid-1990s. Following this, the loco was operated on a handful of tours run by the Hotham Valley Tourist Railway, and it saw the loco stabled at their depot at Pinjarra, in between mainline outings. In those days, Sammy was painted in black livery with skyline casing fitted across the top of the boiler. Eventually, the loco was repainted into green livery, with part of the top casing removed, which would return the 1947-built engine to its appearance when it was withdrawn from service and stored at Collie. The first 3 members of the S-Class were constructed during the Second World War in 1943. 7 other examples were to be built, but due to the war, they were put on hold until an order was completed for a dozen Australian Standard Garratt locomotives for the Commonwealth Land Transport Board. 2 more of the S-Class were outshopped in 1945, with the final 5 finally being constructed in 1947. Frederick Mills was the designer of the S-Class, and after suffering from some initial problems, modifications were made to enable them to become a highly successful class of locomotive. All examples received nameplates and were named after mountains in Western Australia. Throughout their life, the 482s were fitted with steam brakes, with their tenders being equipped with vacuum brakes. By 1971, the majority of the S-Class were withdrawn from service, and the now preserved S549 went on to haul the final steam-hauled freight train on the Western Australian Government Railways, which took place on Christmas Eve, 1971. The restoration of S549 was carried out by volunteers of the Australian Railway Historical Society Western Australia Division at their base at Bassendean. Much work was concentrated on the boiler with the aim of running the engine on the main line and to make it the only operational S-Class 482 mountain-type loco in the world of preservation in WA. The restoration culminated in a mainline trial which is shown in these photos. The engine was maintained in immaculate condition throughout its time in preservation, and it proved popular whenever it performed. During its time with the Hotham Valley Tourist Railway, the locomotive visited Jarradale in the company of W Class No. 903, and another tour saw it venture south through the township of Yarloop with 462 PM Class Pacific No. 706. In later years, the loco was transferred to Dowrin to run a series of shuttle trips, which would turn out to be the last outing of Sammy on the mainline. With mainline operations becoming more and more harder to do in later years, the locomotive was steamed on limited occasions at the Railway Museum in Bassendean, which included Railfest 2022 and 2024. On the 20th of July 2025, Sammy was operated for the second last time before being withdrawn from service for the foreseeable future. Following the end of steam, 2 other S-Class ended up being saved from the cutter's torch. S549, named Bakewell, would later be placed on static display at East Perth Railway Station, and S547 was shipped to the Geelong Steam Preservation Society's base at Queenscliff for possible use on the Bellarine Peninsula Railway. At the time of this video being released in 2025, the loco was shunted inside their large storage shed at Lakers Siding. S542 remains at East Perth Station, and in 2025 it was fully repainted by volunteers of Rail Heritage WA. More information on this locomotive will be featured in a future video on the channel. At the time of this video being released in September 2025, Sammy was about to run for the final time, which would take place during Railfest on the 5th of October. For more information, please visit the following website shown on the screen. The loco is a fine example of the S-Class 482 mountain type and is a credit to the people who have restored it and kept it serviceable over the years.